Silence is a lie told by the dead. Silas Vane didn't trust the quiet of the shifting woods. On Noctis Prime, the air itself was a predator, thick with the scent of crushed mint and ozone. He reached up, his fingers brushing the cold casing of his Neuralink visor, and clicked it off. The digital HUD, the blue-tinted tactical overlays, the heat signatures, the motion trackers, flickered and died. He was blind to the machine, but for the first time in 6 hours he was no longer a beacon. The Phase-Stalker didn't hunt through sight. It hunted through the electromagnetic hum of technology. Every pulse of a battery, every flicker of a screen was a dinner bell to a creature that lived between the folds of reality. Silas exhaled, a slow, controlled release that barely disturbed the purple mist clinging to his boots. He adjusted his grip on the Hecate rail pistol. It was a heavy, ugly piece of hardware, firing solid tungsten slugs with enough kinetic force to stop a charging transport. No electronics. No smart aim. Just cold iron and a spring-loaded trigger. Flicker. A ripple moved through the violet ferns to his left. It wasn't the wind. It was a distortion in the light, a shimmering smudge against the darkness. The stalker was close, its molecular density shifting as it phased in and out of the physical plane. To a soldier relying on a computer, it was a ghost. To Silas, it was a displacement of weight. He felt the root beneath him vibrate, a microscopic tremor as 6 paws, momentarily solid, touched the earth. He didn't turn his head. He used his ears. The sound was a low, melodic purr that vibrated in the base of his spine. The stalker was circling, testing the air. Was confused. Its prey had suddenly vanished from the electromagnetic spectrum, leaving only a scent and a heartbeat. The creature lunged. It erupted from the ether, a 300-kilogram mass of obsidian muscle and cyan bioluminescence. One moment it was a shimmering afterimage. The next, it was a solid, screaming nightmare of claws and teeth. Silas didn't panic. Panic was a heat spike. He dropped from the root, rolling through the damp, glowing moss as a set of claws, each the size of a combat knife, sheared through the space his head had occupied a millisecond before. He came out of the roll on one knee, the rail pistol rising in a single, fluid motion. The stalker hit the ground and immediately began to phase. Its hindquarters turned into a translucent blue mist, its form blurring as it prepared to slip through the next tree trunk and vanish. "Not this time, kitty," Silas grunted. He didn't aim where the cat was. He aimed where the frequency was densest. He pulled the trigger. The rail pistol roared, a sharp, mechanical crack that echoed through the forest. The tungsten slug, propelled by a chemical primer, tore through the air. Because it carried no electronic signature, the stalker's natural defensive phase, designed to dodge smart munitions, didn't trigger in time. The slug caught the creature in its solid shoulder. A fountain of iridescent blue blood sprayed across the ferns. The stalker shrieked, a sound like grinding glass as its phasing mechanism misfired. The shock of the physical impact forced it back into a fully solid state. It tumbled through the brush, its 6 legs thrashing as it tried to regain its balance. Silas was already moving. He didn't give it a second to breathe. He vaulted over the obsidian root, the rail pistol barking twice more. The first shot shattered the creature's front limb. The second punched a hole through its armored ribs. The stalker tried to phase one last time, its body flickering like a dying light bulb, blue sparks arcing desperately from its fur. Silas stepped into its guard, the heavy barrel of the Hecate pressing against the creature's lidless golden eye. Crack. The recoil jolted Silas's arm, but the struggle was over. The Phase-Stalker slumped into the moss, its cyan whiskers dimming until they were nothing more than gray threads. The shimmer vanished, leaving only a carcass of black fur and cooling blood. Silas stood over the kill, the smell of cordite masking the minty rot of the woods. He reached into his vest, pulled out a physical whetstone, and ran it along the edge of his combat knife. He didn't turn his visor back on. He didn't call for extraction. He looked up at the violet canopy. High above, something else chirped, a larger, deeper sound. The forest was still full of teeth. But Silas Vane wasn't hiding anymore. He had learned the rhythm of the woods, and he knew that out here, the man with the iron was the only ghost that mattered. The moss drinks the blue. The pistol stays heavy. The human walks. Silas fades into the deeper shadows of the violet wood, his footsteps making no sound on the forest floor. Behind him, the dead stalker is already being claimed by the glowing vines. The hunt continues, but the rules have changed. The darkness is no longer a cage, it is a weapon. The lead is cold. The blood is bright. The woods are quiet.